I finally finished my outside sketchbook, the sketchbook I take with me outside. I started June the 3rd and finished July the 16th, so just over a year. And this is a Royal Talens Art Creations sketchbook. And I think it's the last one I have. I need to buy another one to replace it because while I really love using pith sketchbooks in my art room, I think it's nice to take these guys outside because you can be a little less precious with them because they're very affordable. So this page is actually the very last page I did. It was blank. So I just did a little puffin, and you'll see the last page also has puffins because I just come back from my Northumberland trip. But now we can go all the way back into the past. I think I need to get better at putting dates and places when I'm outside because I guess this was June the 3rd because it's the very first sketch in it. And I believe this was on top of one of the fells around Grasmere, because I think this is Grasmere here. And I had a whole bunch of paint and ink that I was going to use. I have one here and I have one here, but I didn't get around to using them, and I probably will just leave them there for now. So this is also in Grasmere on the shore. So this is like the shore of the lake and looking across at the hotel on the other side. And then this is up on the fell looking down this way. So I think, if I remember correctly, the hotel would be here. So I think we were on Lothrig Fell. And this was also on the shore of Grasmere. The last image was this way, and then this is kind of like towards the edge. Not that it matters, it's just really nice to remember where we were. It was at sunset, I think, and there were a lot of midgies out. Martin was off around the corner taking photos, and the sun was setting in the distance. And that's one of the things I really love about plein air sketchbooks is you can look at the page, and even if you don't remember where it is, you can sometimes still get the same feeling. And if you do remember where it is, you can remember a lot of details. So the next few pages are in Kendal. I went around with my friend Mandy, and she took me on kind of a tour of Kendal, some places that I hadn't been to before. And we did some sketching for a couple of hours. It was really lovely. And I really like this colour palette I did here. This is at one of the old churches in Kendal. And this was the same church, just with a brush pen, it looks like. And this is one of the little alleyways in the town. I actually sat down on the floor here, but Mandy stood up. And it's one very narrow cobbled lane. So I don't think any cars passed us, but if they did, I would have had to get up in a hurry. And this is one of my favourite images I did with Mandy that morning. We sat at Brewery Arts, quite high up, so you can kind of see a little bit over the town, and had a drink. And this is Kendal Castle in the background. And it looks kind of autumny here, but I think it still would have been June time. And then this was a failed one. I tried to do the building. I didn't like how it turned out, so I just gave up. And now we're in Shap Wells, which is a hotel near Shap. And it's like a big hotel, and I think they're quite famous for having a lot of red squirrels. So they have boxes around and they give you free squirrel food, and you can go and feed the squirrels. It's really lovely. So I sat and drew this, and this is meant to be a squirrel. It looks like a little newt, but trust me, it's a squirrel. And I also took some doodles of Martin taking photos, trying to capture the squirrels, and I really love these. This is one of his poses he does a lot when he's taking photos. So it's a good one. He stays in it for quite a long time. And I don't know what this is. I think I was just testing some colour palettes maybe for going out. Oh, maybe it was going to London, because the next few pages are London. So this must have been some materials I was testing when I went to visit Artie in London. So this is Primrose Hill. I don't really know much about London, so I don't know what any of these places are. Was it autumn? Maybe. Was it spring? I don't know. I had autumn colours, so maybe it was autumn. I gotta start writing the dates down. And I drew some people. I'm not very good at drawing people from life. I want to get better at it though. And then this is Marylebone Church. Marylebone Church, I don't know if I'm saying that right. We sat and had a quiet 20 minutes here. It was really nice and peaceful for London. And then we met up with who did we meet up with? We met up with Jess was here, and then I think later that day we also met up with Birdie Tam, which was really cool. And this is Jess was here. This is Jess, and this was a girl eating chips that I kind of drew like a vampire. I didn't mean to. And this was also in the cafe. I didn't want to draw people. I get so awkward in cafes, so I just started making silly doodles with my materials, just kind of testing them out. And while I was staying with Artie, I went through all of her art supplies and I swatched out all of her Karen markers because I really like them and I thought it might be nice to have as a selection if I want to buy more in the future. And I also used her Fude pen, which I actually have now. I think I bought that after I stayed with her. And then here are all her pro markers too. So thanks, Artie, for letting me rummage through your art materials. And now we're back in the Lake District. Martin and I went up to Scout Scar one evening to see the sunset, and it was so, so cold. I remember we took our pot noodle and had it with our jet boil, and it was freezing. I took this neon orange pen and tried to capture the sunset, which was pretty fun. And then this here is from a different day when we went to Keswick, and it's another sunset. And these are all the seagulls on the posts that go out into the lake. And then from a sunset to a sunrise, we went to a place called Humphrey Head to watch the sunrise, and it was gorgeous, gorgeous. These lines here are the reflections of the water. Like this is the water snaking through the sea, and all of the sunrise basically like reflected in it. And then you had these trees here that were waving because of the wind, the way they had grown. And then this is Arnside over here in the background. It was really lovely. Our first time going there and I really enjoyed it. It was a really early morning, but it was beautiful. And this was kind of the end of Humphrey Head. It went down to the shore, and these are all the rocks here. This is Martin, and then this is also him taking a photo. He's a good model, you know. I'm not quite sure what this is. I feel like it must be back at Keswick because the next page is Keswick. So these are just some ducks, it looks like. And then on the other side is Derwentwater. This is the Century Stone, which was put in the water. I'm not really sure about the history of it, but I think it was put in the water as kind of sculpture for the 2000s, for like the turn of the century. It was kind of covered in water when we went, so we didn't get to see it, but I did draw this picture, which I quite like. And here's another one of the boathouse here with the ducks in the water. This place is the same place as here. So these posts here are like just off the page a little bit. It's nice revisiting the same places again. I love Keswick. We go there quite a bit. It's really nice there. Now, what's this? I think these are just some doodles. Maybe I did them on a train. I'm not sure. Not my usual plein air sketches though. This was when I went out with Mandy again. We went to Ambleside and Bowness and Windermere, and we did a lot of walking that day, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful weather. I think it was very cold, but it was really nice walking weather, and I had a lot of pastels with me because I wanted to try out a new technique that I saw Daria use, Daria Gushina. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I'll pop her up in my description, but she was using pastels and then going through them with toothpicks, and I really loved that, so I tried that here. But this is when we sketched that day, actually, just these 2 pages. We just did a lot of walking and talking and eating, I think. This is at Leighton Moss, which is a bird reserve. Every time I go to Leighton Moss with Martin, he says that I sound like I'm playing the drums when I'm in the bird hides drawing because I'm rattling around looking for my art materials. I don't think I'm that loud. There weren't many birds that day, but there was a bulldozer, so I drew that. This is another fell, Stone Arthur. It's kind of near Ambleside. It was so windy that day, and I didn't draw much, I just hid around the side from the wind and just drew these random rocks. So this is the lake, I think it's Grasmere, down here. It's got an island in it. So when I say it's Grasmere, I'm not sure, but it's definitely a lake. I can tell because it's blue. And all the fields were this bright, vibrant green. I tried to kind of show it here, but it was a bit difficult. Another day, another walk. This is when we went to Yorkshire Dales, I think, or the Yorkshire Moors, one of them. And I can't remember where we were, but we kind of went at sunset. So the moon was out. It was really gorgeous. There was this plateau land across from me, which kind of looked like something out of Africa. We had pot noodles again, and it was also very, very cold. This was from another walk we did. I didn't draw much on that walk apart from here. I drew the Three Shires pub while we were waiting to go in, while we were waiting for the pub to open. And another walk. This is Rydell. So this is just a random boat. I think I drew this with Mandy when we were out at the canal. And then this is a different day. I'm drawing Rydell water here. And it's really, really beautiful, actually, this page. I love how the gradient of the pink to the yellow to like the cyan to the blue with the little houses. I think actually I should go through my plein air sketchbook and get some inspiration for bigger paintings, because even though I pick colours seemingly at random when I go out, sometimes they come together nicely. This is when we went up to Lothric Fell and watched the sunset. This is the sun, you can tell, because it's, look how sunny it is, the sun setting. It was freezing, it was really windy, and I just did these two sketches very, very, very quickly. This was the day it was so windy, I poured myself a cup of coffee and the wind blew it onto me instead of into the coffee cup. So that was fun. But yeah, it was a nice hike. It looks like this mess of a page is trying to find a nice colour palette to take to Northumberland, because now we're starting my first trip to Northumberland, which was with Mandy and Artie. We did a little art retreat, and that video is going to be out next week. So think of this as a preview. So these are some sketches from Rothbury. This is from Alnmouth. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, if it's Alnmouth. Who knows? This is Holy Island. I really like these sketches, actually. I especially like this one here with the Holy Island in the background there. Bamba, Alnmouth again. And this one is so moody. I think I had some paint in the background. I really like how it turned out. It's just very, very moody. That's Holy Island. And this one's my favourite one from Holy Island. I really want to turn this one into a big painting or a series of paintings. I love this colour combo, like the beautiful blue, the grey of the sky, and the neon orange of the roofs. This one was at Bamba, so that's Bamba Castle, and then this is the sea. We were sitting in the sand dunes, which was really lovely. And at sea houses with all their lovely boats. Some more boats at Karst. I was trying to use my pan pastels here. They work sometimes. Sometimes I'm not a big fan, but I'm still learning how to use them. And then the last one at sea houses here, very simple. Oh no, one more. These are all the seagulls and everything. I did a big smudge here. I turned this turn into a big smudge. And here it's the Farne Islands in the background. I didn't visit those the first time, but I visited them last time and it was really fun. And this was Dunstable Castle. And that was it. So now we're back in Cumbria, and we did a little walk near Leighton Moss, which is where they have the birds. But we went down to the sea. So this bit's like the sea around here. And this here is an old chimney. I don't know what it's from. It's still there. Nothing else is there. It's just a big old chimney. Another one of Leighton Moss, some little ducks and geese here. And some oyster catchers. It looks like oyster catcher blind. So I must have been doing some blind contours with the oyster catchers, which is always fun. And then we had a little snack and sat down on the bench. And I drew this man who was on a bench a few meters away, snoozing. And then also the pigeons were snoozing. Everyone was snoozing. This is also Leighton Moss. It's one of my favourite areas in the reserve. It's through the little foresty bit to walk to another hide. And I'm not very good at drawing forests, but I actually love how chaotic this is. And I kind of want to draw more forest. I'm not sure how like noticeable it is, but this is the path and then these are the shadows, and this is kind of like a tunnel because the trees kind of close in as you walk down the path. Then one night Martin and I went to a new place. I forgot the name of it, where it is, but it's kind of 10 minutes out of town. We parked up the road here. This is a very busy road, like a kind of an A road that goes down here, lots of fast cars. So we parked the car here, walked down, and then you kind of walk through the fields across the river, and you can keep going off the page much further. But I really love this view. I actually started this, but there were so many spiders on the ground, I only managed to do like the hill and the bridge. So I finished it at home from some photos. I love nature, but I don't want to be surrounded by spiders. And then this is the same house, but a little bit further on. So we were kind of here and then walked around over the river, and now we're looking at it this way. On another day, we went to Bricksteel Woods, which is a woods near our old house that we first lived in when we moved to Cumbria. And I really loved it there. I walked through the woods a lot, but we haven't visited for a while. So we went back there to see the bluebells. These are the bluebells. And I sat down and drew while Martin was taking photos. Here's a little closer up bluebell here. And then we went to Sizer Castle, and this is my favourite part of Sizer Castle, which isn't actually part of the castle, it's the house next to it. And I don't know what this is, like a clock tower or a weather vane or something, but I just really love this whole contraption here. So I sat in the field and drew it while Martin was off. He's always off doing something, and I'm always drawing. It's fun. This is Sizer Castle from the gardens. So like there's these beautiful gardens here, and they have lovely flowers during spring and summer. And they also have a vegetable garden with like herbs and vegetables and fruit and stuff, which is really nice. I sat down here, and this is the very first time I was approached by someone while drawing, and he came up to me and said, "You're very brave drawing in front of all these people." And I said, "Oh, and then I said, "I don't think I brought the right colors." And he said, "No, I was wondering why the building was pink." But yeah, it was fun. I never really talk to anyone out in public because normally I sit in the middle of nowhere or with my back to a wall. So it was quite interesting. This here just says a beck by Lodore. So I think we went for a walk, and this is Lodore Falls, and this is the river. It was really beautiful. We sat and had sandwiches here, stopped to have a little picnic. And this is also kind of like the forest. This is like a bank that goes up. All the trees came over like this. It was really lovely. And then we stopped for tea. Oh, I forgot the name of the place where we stopped, but it was a beautiful little cafe with a lovely garden. And where are we now? I think this is the same place. The cafe is around the corner here. And then we walked around the lake, and this was like a farmer's building there. It's very colourful. So that day we did quite a lot of walking. We also ended up at the top of Latrig, which overlooks Keswick. And I did try several drawings, but I failed. I didn't fail them, but I just didn't enjoy any of them. This one here, I started really small and tried to capture every single building in town. And I was like, that's too much for me. So then I thought, what if I just do panels? So I did panels and I started drawing, but I just wasn't into it. So then I said, okay, maybe if I start with my brush pens and I just kind of zoom out a little bit. Maybe I just wasn't in the mood to draw that day, but nothing was working and I just wasn't enjoying myself. So I ended up just doodling a group of friends who were kind of down the hill from us having a little picnic. And one of the guys was also taking photos, and they had a little bag with wine and they were drinking and laughing and stuff, just having fun. So I drew them, and that was really nice. But some days you got it and some days you don't. This is when we went to Coniston, our first paddleboarding trip of the year a few weeks ago. It was so lovely. This was the day I asked Martin to pick out my colour palette for me, and he will tell anyone that this is the best sketch in the entire book because he picked the colours. So what do you guys think? This is a little bit later in Coniston, drawing all the boats. And some more pictures of Coniston. I really love Coniston. It's become one of my favourite lakes, actually. And now we're back in Holy Island. So this was for mine and Martin's trip that we just did last month. So I took all of the same colours. I recreated the colour palette again, took all the same materials. But because it was summery and the time we went before was very grey, a lot of these images are a bit different. And I think the ones I did with Mandy and Artie are better. I do like this one though. I do like the colour of the ocean and stuff. But I just think, I don't know, maybe I had more time with Artie and Mandy, maybe I was more relaxed, because when I'm with Martin, it's really lovely. Like, I like spending time with him, but I feel like I can't sit down and draw as much. These are some little boats. I love these guys. I think they could be characters in a little TV show. Some more of Holy Island and some more boats. And I think I finished this at home, actually, because I didn't have time. I just did it from photos. These are my feet in the ocean, some little birds, and some medieval things from the castle. Oh, this is all Bamba. Yeah, this is Bamba Castle. This is scone or scones with jam and tea. And the last one, guys. So the last one is, where is this? Dunster Castle. And I also found this here when I was going through the book. I wrote it from June 2024 to 2025. I must have written it in June at the start of the sketchbook. I wanted to reach 10k on YouTube. I've done that. 100k on Instagram, which I think is a little wishful thinking, but didn't do that, but almost there, kind of. And I wanted to open more tiers on my Patreon, which I never got around to doing because I've just been so busy. So maybe next year. But this is fun. I think everyone, and next time I'm going to leave myself a little note, even if it's not goals, if it's just like a little note for myself. When I start a sketchbook, I'm going to leave it at the end as a little surprise. And then this was the last plein air sketch I did, but I did see I had one page left and I just couldn't leave it blank. So I filled it with puffins just from photos. And the last little page is some doodles. And that's it, guys. So that is the entire sketchbook, my outside sketchbook. I hope that you enjoyed seeing all the different sketches, all the different places I went, and also kind of how my art's changed over a year, like experimenting with more materials, maybe trying more cohesive color palettes. It's really interesting to see, and it's really nice to look at all the different memories. So let me know if you have an outside sketchbook and what you fill yours with. And that's all from me today. Have a lovely rest of your week, and I will catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.